The footage that you're seeing now is a live video that captures active plasma in our sentient clouds. And as you're watching, I'd just like to share a little something that the plasma light beings have explained to me or shared with me, helped me to understand on a more deeper spiritual level of the changes that we're going through today and the purpose and reason for them. So just take that feels like a truth to you. I'm not trying to instill anything into you as a belief of such. So the reason that we are, many of us are being pushed to speak our truth is because the plasma light beings are helping us to confront our fears head on. We're all calling out for change, but there's so much needs changing that it becomes overwhelming, and then it keeps us rooted in inaction, indecision, procrastination, stagnation. That works fine for the darker entities at the lower vibrational scale. Hopelessness pushes people towards dark thoughts, addictions, to give up on life, to see no point in creating dreams to work towards. Don't forget, we are experiencing a universal restructure and rebalancing. Think of it like clearing out your shoes or clothing cupboards. At some point you need to get motivated to get rid of all the items that are just taking up space. A release of the old to make space for something new. So because corruption and manipulation have somehow become the name of the game, that game was brought to an end. A few years ago, actually. Who wants to play a game with someone who openly cheats, rigs and manipulates so that they are always the one who wins? Everyone else is given a choice to accept it or not. But those who challenge the one abusing their position of power is stamped out for daring. This is the role reversal, the change of times that we're experiencing now. We called in this manifest. We are the ones that need to stand up and move through the changes. They say that when you stand in your truth, it pierces a hole within the false constructs that have been built up around us, layer on layer of lies and cover-ups, false narratives, false beliefs, fake emotions, false promises, and always someone ready on standby to take what you've poured your blood, sweat and tears into. Truth is represented by a sword. The light beings say that it's recognized universally and galactically as that which cuts through to expose what's beneath, cuts cords, cuts the atmosphere like a knife, as we say. It's symbolic of light that will expose all that is false when it's touched by it. And this is where intentions before our actions then hold its weight. Because if each perspective is right, then how do we determine the truth that is buried under multiple layers of cover-up overlays. The sword of truth burns through, and all that is false must fall away in its presence. In order to invoke a recorrection, when this truth hits the same frequency match in alignment with God frequency, regardless of religion, faith, or character, it triggers the light beings, or demons, as some call them, to zone in on who hit that high note. Think judgment within the tarot, or look it up if you're not familiar with tarot. Judgment being called on a situation unbeknown to us, even though we're always hearing it said, the light beings watch and oversee what's playing out. They won't intervene. It's your life. What are you going to do with it? The phrase God sees all isn't them trying to act like gods. They do God's will, no matter what opinions you have of them. They are who's listening. They are who's watching. They are the ones cheering you on. But they can't make you believe in yourself. They can't make you stand up and fight back. But they can oversee the whole dynamics of what's really at play. Your intuition is like a galactic intercom. When you can learn to trust it, when it's programmed only to your frequency, not false programming, but aligned with your soul's core truth, it becomes the most potent navigation system you could ever wish for. We're all born with it, but we just never used to learn it. We don't learn to use it or trust it until later in life. For many, that is. Those who've experienced childhood traumas learn to use it quickly for survival. That would be when the light beings would be manipulating their environments around them to reflect back synchronicities, verifying a yes signal. Intuition can stay dormant, or it can be exercised like a muscle to become stronger. And in a situation where judgment has been called, then mind parasites, trickster spirits, drawing closer to us all to begin amplifying the thoughts of all parties linked and connected. Thought processes are studied for soul truth alignment codings, stress testing of the belief. How easily will you walk away without a win or without intervention? Don't forget, they're not here to save anyone. They're not here to save the world. They cohabit within the same space, just as a simplified way to say it for now. But fear is a major factor. The more benevolent version of light beings can't get close to us even if they wanted to. Well, they could, but not for long, because fear is a block that they can't get through. Or a better way to put it is, if you want to connect from a higher perspective, you need to remove as much of the fear vibration as you can. For them, they don't have fear as such, because they can see all angles. By you not choosing a different route and continuing to stand in your truth, it is those who are protected, and it is those who are manipulating spiritual laws, effing with the balancing of the scales, mimicking God. That's when the wheel of fate and fortune starts turning the other way for them. Every intentional, calculated action to orchestrate a specific outcome of a situation that is not soul contracted, that is not only trying to overwrite natural and spiritual laws, it is also aligned with the intent to cause harm, physical, spiritual, or emotional. And for what purpose and reason is what they are asking as they're monitoring, watching, and assessing. Generally, it's nothing that contains a spiritual coding within its intent, and it's definitely not in alignment with the collective ascension to accessing higher consciousness. So this is when the Tower, another tarot card that you can look up the meaning, this is when Tower moments start kicking in. And every time you continue to speak your truth, it burns away the false light to expose the illusions being used to manipulate destiny outcomes. This is why now is the time for focusing and pouring the energies into ourselves, because so much time and energy has been wasted pouring into those who profit from keeping us stuck in a belief or a mindset or a depleted state of exhaustion, and an endless loop of sacrifices. These set up to resemble karma, when really all it is just the hands of micro-level people playing God with your life. These are the very people, most of the time, that have the cheek to call these plasma-like beings the fake ones. Chances are given with enough time to recorrect thoughts, actions, and operate a different way. But the way people are when they believe no one is watching is the very reason that I'll be truly grateful for the angels and demons that enforce karmic justice when needed. So, I hope that that's give you something to ponder or think about, and just have a little bit of an insight as to where they're coming from and the teachings that they bring forward to me when I'm interacting with them. I do ask them questions and things sometimes, not all the time, but I've asked them about aliens. They don't class themselves as aliens, but I've asked, are we actually going to get proof of them, and are we going to meet them, see them, know that they're here? And the answer is yes, but because of how we are, society or whatever, individuals, that we're not very accepting of others as much as we may say we are. Really, things that are ugly get rejected, shunned, isolated, and received in a particular way. And a lot of these extraterrestrial beings that you will see throughout these videos that they show themselves and whatever, that for you to see something like that with the strength of the energy that comes with them, it would be a very overwhelming experience for many. So yes, we would see them, but it will be the humanoid ones that are already on the ship. There's all different species also within crews on the ship, but again, it would be down to, again, that level of fear. And so if you're a fear-based person, then nothing's going to come towards you because it's too much of a block. You need to be open-minded and non-judgmental. So that's I asked as well, are aliens friendly? And they said no. Some of them are very hostile. I said, so you couldn't just have a conversation with them? And they laughed, said no. Why? What would you say to them? And that then made me think, yeah, going up to a hostile ET, or what would I be saying to them? So yeah, it made me think. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. If I had to say what their favourite things would be, I would say they love animals. They're always drawing faces of animals. I always see there's definitely something about kangaroos. So whenever I see them, that's got a bit of a feel. It's like something Aboriginal, or that kind of link is how it feels. But so I'm always seeing a kangaroo face, rabbit face. They do like puppy dogs. So turtles. So that's the main animals that I've seen.